want to thank you all for inviting me here to speak with you all tonight. I've had several ladies ask me if I was comfortable in this setting, and the answer is yes, because there's, 30 of you and one of me. And my slam cooking business, I spend most of my time working with women, teaching them how to cook dinner in 5 minutes. So I actually spend an awful lot of time in this kind of ratio. I do want to thank you for allowing a man to come in here and speak to you. I did a lot of reflecting as I was thinking about what do you say to a bunch of women, and I wanted to make sure that it was something that would be useful and helpful to you. So I did spend a lot of time reflecting on the time I spent with my mom, and she's passed away, and my grandmother, and she's passed away. And so just in thinking about what I would share with you tonight, I spent a lot of time with them. It's been an emotional thing leading up to this. When I talked to Monica about coming here, because I remember hearing about it, and I was like, oh, I should go to the Monica's thing. I was like, wait a minute, it's all women. I don't think I can go to that. And then I thought, maybe I could come and be a speaker, and she agreed. So thank you again for having me here tonight. I hope that what I share with you will be able to inspire you to improve your quality of life by helping you improve your business. And just to get an idea, I know I was always taught to know your audience. And that's something that you should consider before you go to make a sale, before you launch an advertising campaign, before you get on the phone to try to drum up some business, is consider your audience. So to help me to make sure that I can deliver some useful information to you, can we, just a show of hands, how many people in here work as an employee working for somebody else? Okay, good. And then how many people own a traditional brick and mortar type of business that has a physical location? Okay, great. And then anybody that has an online-only business?
Online-only?
Online.
Well, I guess.
Mostly or mainly online? Okay, great. Because, traditional business, most of them have websites, but it's really a traditional business. A lot of online businesses have traditional locations, too. That's good. And then anybody that I missed?
Direct sales.
Direct sales, right. Okay. So how many people in multi-level or direct sales? Hands up. Excellent. Good. Okay. Well, bonus for everybody, I have a little experience in everything, and as most of my experience has been in direct sales and multi-level and biomedical research, so hopefully some of that will help. It's like, wait a minute, how'd you do that? So I'll get to that. We don't have time to share all of the details, and of course it is in my book, Get Started, Don't Quit. You can find the details of that. And right now we're currently sold out, but we've got a second edition coming out, so we're editing for that. So. As Monica had mentioned, when I was 7 years old, my brother gave me my first job outside of the house. He had a paper route. He paid me $0.10 a day to deliver newspapers with him. And I learned about employee motivation because he gave me the dime at the end of the route after we delivered the last newspaper as we were walking into the candy store. Now, how do you motivate a 7-year-old, And if I ever had an attitude or was frustrated or whatever, he'd hold the dime up and say, hey, at the end, you get this. And so it was like, a lesson in employee motivation. And it was interesting because I found the candies there was a generic candy that happened to fit in the Pez dispenser. It wasn't a Pez brand, but it happened to fit. And at the time, Pez refills were $0.10. And so I would buy them for 2 cents and sell them for $0.05. And I was in business. And so I don't know if you guys, anybody ever seen the marshmallow videos with the kids, and they put a marshmallow in front of them and they say, if you don't eat the marshmallow, I'll be back and bring you a second one and you can have them both. And they videotape the kids, and they show it's a lesson in delayed gratification. And they got all these kids how they try to distract themselves and not eat the marshmallow. So for me, that was kind of the lesson because I wanted to eat the candy, but I wanted to make the money. And so I got this entrepreneur bug, and so pretty soon I had all the candy I could eat. And fortunately, I like to exercise too, so I turned out okay. So later I went into the military. I actually wanted to be a research scientist and wear a lab coat, but I had a learning disability, and they said, you ain't going to college. It crushed me because I thought I was going to go. And they're like, nope. So I went in the Army, jumped out of perfectly good airplanes, and then I broke my back. And then they said, well, you can't walk anymore. And it's like, oh no. I literally said, God, how can I be of any use to you? And it felt like he actually said, now you're perfectly qualified to do some good, because I can't personally take credit. I got to give the credit to God. So I give God the credit for my success and survival. And I actually started a medical research company developing robotic suits for paralyzed people so that they can learn to walk again. That was back in 1986. And over these 28 years, we've developed 21 versions of the suit, and there's now a version of the exoskeleton that's in hospitals. So if you know anyone who's paralyzed, they can ask their physical therapist to get them into a medical trial so they can use one of these machines to learn to walk again. It's pretty exciting. And so the next, Kathy was asking me, because I know Kathy for a few years, she was asking me, what's going on with the suit? I haven't seen her in a few years. So I was telling her earlier that we're in the process of raising $200 million for that nonprofit so that we can develop a home use version of the suit that paralyzed people will be able to use every day instead of wheelchairs. So did you have a question?
You also have it for kids or just for adults?
Right now it's just for adults, but the long-term plan will be for children and infants. But right now it's just an adult version. Good question. So it just takes money. And that's one of the things I'm so excited about talking to business owners, because I really believe a lot of the good that's happened in this world is because people have a successful business, they have excess money, and they do good. Most people are generally good, and I find that women are more generally good. I remember when I was in the military, we were looking at, we're looking at military science and tactics, and one potential tactic that would almost completely eliminate war if you made a rule that only women could be the politicians that run countries. There might still be some fighters, but the majority of the wars, I mean, you guys' emotions, hug, cry, and, at least you got a lot of logic, and, you just wouldn't do it, it just could be so amazing. So, I'm very excited about helping you guys with your business. And the thing I wanted to share with you tonight, the topic is called Let Them Buy at Retail. And the reason I came up with that is I noticed in multi-level, I did this, and I found even more that the women consultants in my multi-level business, they were more likely to do this. You guys tell me if this is the case, but you ever sit there with a customer and they're kind of hemming and hawing and they're thinking about the big buy decision and they're just not quite decided what they want to do, and you blurt out a discount? Like you weren't planning on it, but you're like, well, just get the starter kit, become a consultant, and then you can buy it at wholesale. Right? Anybody ever done that? Right? Okay.
I haven't done it for years.
Okay, good. So you've learned. and then for those of you not in the multi-level direct sales, have you ever, you had a customer and you just blurted out a discount? Well, I'll just give you 10% off, right? I see some heads nodding. So what happens if you have a profit margin? Let's just use an example. I don't have a whiteboard, but imagine I put the number 100 up here at the top, and that's the dollar amount. Let's say the price is $100, and that your profit is $20, 20%, and your cost is $80. Okay? And let's just imagine that your profit is $20, but you give them a 10% discount. So, no big deal, 10%, right? How much did you just take out of your own pocket and put in theirs?
50%.
Right? Exactly. So how much more sales do you have to create to make up for that loss? Exactly. You have to double your production. So if you continue to discount at that rate, you're going to have to deal with twice as many customers, twice as many emails, twice as many Facebook posts, twice as many phone calls. And that's going to cause you to be stressed out. Not relaxed, but stressed. You're going to be pushed. You're going to feel pushy. Does anyone like being pushy? Nobody likes that, especially ladies. I mean, you guys don't like that. And what happens if you are stressed? Anybody been in that position where you just really, really need that next sale? How efficient are you as a salesperson? Right? Do your customers smell that fear or push that you have? I mean, they don't want to buy from you. You don't want to sell. You don't even want to work, right? It's very frustrating. So don't do that to yourself. So, exactly, yes. And so what you really need to do is just let them buy at retail. Now, why would you discount? Why do people throw discounts out there? Well, for a lot of ladies, it's because you have a maternal instinct and you don't want to make money off of your friends and you want to help everybody, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And I would add to that, ask yourself, do you believe in the product? Do you believe in the company? Because if you are throwing out a discount that you don't have to, then I would question whether you do truly believe in what you're doing. Do you believe it's a good deal? Because if you don't, then life is too short and you need to change what you're doing. You need to either pick a different company, different product, a different service, something that you actually believe in, something that you actually believe is a value that you're delivering to your customers. Because if you don't believe in it, you really shouldn't be doing it anyway. I mean, life is too short. You think about anybody who's right now, we'll just say 50 years old, and don't anyone say anything, because Mom always said don't ever ask their age. So I don't want anyone to think I was asking. I'm not asking your age. Mom always taught me I walk on the side where the puddle is in case the woman there's a splash. I'm supposed to stop the mud from splashing, and I'm supposed to also never ask a woman their age, right? And so the key thing is that you need to know that you believe in your product. And you think about today, if you're 50 years old, when you were a kid, you were taught that when you got to 50, you're on the tail end of life. You're wrapping it up, shutting it down, right? But the reality is, if you are alive today and you're 50 years old, you got a lot more time than you thought you did, right? I mean, people die. They say that the average lifespan in America is 80 today, but that's not true. That's the death span. That's the age people are dying at. That's the average lifespan of someone who was born 80 years ago. Today, if you're alive, your average lifespan, nobody's actually has the numbers out there, but I worked in biomedical research for 28 years. I read the papers. You have so much available in health and wellness just in this room. How many people in the health and wellness business, right? You have so much available to you today that you didn't have when you were a kid. You have an opportunity to live far longer than you ever imagined. I actually have a goal to live to be 150 years old. And I used to tell people that when I was a teenager, like, yeah, you're crazy. Well, people don't say I'm crazy anymore. A lot of them are like, I don't know about that, but they'll believe 120 now because people are dying at 100 years old today. Well, they were born 100 years ago, right? And so today you have so much more life available. And of course, with the internet and all of these technologies and stuff, you can actually live life and live it more abundantly. So you have to pick something that you really want to do. Pick something that you really believe in. Let them buy at retail. And your business will grow faster than it ever has before. You'll have more fun than you ever had before. You probably heard the adage, but the fact is, it's true. You can find something that you love to do and do it. And when you're working, you will work until your eyes bleed. You'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning, finally, like, I got to go to sleep. And then you're going to wake up, jump out of bed, and you're going back to work because it doesn't feel like work, right? If you're doing something you really love, you won't feel like you're working. You'll be living your life. And that's what I want for you. Because if you're living your life, if you're living your passion, you're working your business, but it's also your passion, you're going to be so much more efficient at it. You're going to be so much better at it. And you're going to change other people's lives. And the money you're going to make, because you're winning, you're going to make such a difference in the world. Think about if everyone in this room was a multimillionaire right now, all of you girls that know each other, do you think the world would be a better place or a worse place? Right? Because most of the people, they have good intentions. And what's missing in the world is just more money. And you guys, if you can just find your passion and live your passion, your life will be so much more amazing. Freeze-dried foods that they don't add anything to it. They add no sugar, they add no salt, no dyes. The only thing in it is healthy food. And we bought that for emergency preparedness, and we gave away our salty stuff. And then I started reading the labels, and I'm a chef. I mean, I've been cooking since I was 6 years old. I met my wife. I asked her to marry me within a couple of days. I mean, I had a list, checked it twice, and she was it, baby. I'll tell you. And she thought, oh, man, you're crazy. Let's go meet my mom. And her mom was like, oh, boy. And she was like, we'll just see, you know, because my wife is the last of 9. She was like, she's probably seen a lot of jokers come along. And then I found out in conversation my wife did not know how to cook. And I was like, oh, thank you, grandmother. So I cooked for her for about 2 months, and she finally said, yes, I will marry you. And I absolutely love to cook. And I was making something. I didn't have any onions to chop and throw in. I didn't want to run to the store. And I thought, oh, I got this freeze-dried stuff. Let me crack one open. And it was like, oh, it's already peeled and chopped. Okay, throw it in there. And, you know, it was done. And then I started playing around and found I could make meals in 5 minutes. Wouldn't you like to be able to make dinner in 5 minutes? So the business is called Slam Cooking, slamcooking.com. I have over 200 videos on YouTube. A lot of them are sales training, but a lot of them teach you how to cook with Thrive. And like Monica said, my business is helping people save time and money and put the fun back in the kitchen. So we're out of time, but I'll stick around for questions. Thank you.